Shalom, everyone, and welcome to JQD Hanukkah Hotties. My name is Carmel Tanaka. I'm the founder and executive director of JQD Vancouver, a Jewish queer and trans nonprofit dedicated to queering Jewish space and Jewifying queer space in Vancouver, BC, on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. If you do not know the land on which you live, work, and play, check out native-land.ca. For Hanukkah this year, we are being generously supported by Creating Accessible Neighborhoods, an organization that advocates for and educates about disabled people with intersecting identities. You can learn more about this fantastic organization doing amazing work at canbc.org. For each candle of the holiday, we have a Hanukkah Hottie joining us to light their hanukkiah, or perhaps share another tradition, and chit chat about the wonderful things they do in life for the duration of the candle's burning. For our fourth candle of Hanukkah Hotties, we are joined by Aviva Chernick. Aviva, she, her pronouns, is a Tkaronto, Toronto-based artist and voice and meditation teacher who brings movement, song, and story to each and every offering. Her newest musical release, La Serena, a celebration of the Sephardic music of her mentor, Flory Jagoda, garnered a Canadian Folk Music Award nomination. Aviva is the founder of the Toronto-based sitting and singing community, neySHEV, and the inaugural artist in residence at Beth Tzedec Congregation. She offers spiritual care and guidance for creative process, as well as facilitates freeing the voice and practices of mindfulness in song and silence for both individuals and groups around the globe. Tuning in from Toronto, let's welcome Aviva Chernick.
Yay!
Hello!
Hi, Carmel. It's so nice to be with you.
It's so wonderful to have you here, and I'm so glad you're able to fit us in, because I know that you have just been invited to sing for Hanukkah in Dubai tomorrow.
It's Hanukkah in Dubai. I don't know, that's the song. That's it. That's as far as we've got.
It's going to be your next hit, let me tell you.
Dubai, which all the possible puns about Dubai are coming up. You know, like Dubai. I don't.
Well, it's such an honor, and I'm sure you're going to wow them. And just thank you for being able to make it here today. And how about we open up the space and light some Hanukkah candles?
Let's do it. I'm gonna make some space because my candles are so beautiful. Wait for it. Ready?
Whoa,
Shoresh.
they're beautiful.
Shoresh, Canadian Jewish environmental organization with their very own bees.
Oh.
Now these are beautifully long, and I'm just gonna put them down here because that's where they're resting. Or maybe I'll just bring a book actually. But which book? Oh wait.
There are so many choices.
I'm so excited by the options. Okay, I have Not That Kind of Girl. That was by Lena Dunham. That was one that came to mind. But then this is a totally different choice, which is also my mom Burl for my birthday gave me the Vagina Bible. That would be like a good size and kind of there. But also here's a good one. Is it the right way? The Book of Psalms by Robert Alter. Okay, that.
I mean, you could put all three of them together and put the Hanukkah on top.
It's true, and then actually not a bad idea. Okay, so now you know what's holding up the Hanukkah. I think that's important, right?
Very important. Foundation of life and light. Perfect. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Okay, all right. Oh, better.
This is perfect.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll light with you.
Should we light first and then sing some more?
And then sing.
Okay.
That sounds wonderful.
Shamash, you're the leader. Shamashi.
Oh, mine dwindled.
You got a nice rainbow set of colors there.
Thank you. I picked the perfect ones out of the box.
Yeah, they're lovely.
The rest are now white.
The rest are white, right? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של חנוכה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו ולאמותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Amen. So beautiful.
So,
and now I'm starstruck and have no idea what to ask you.
Well, it was just, I was like, oh, it's nice to be with you. It's nice to feel calm in this moment with you, not rushing like a million things all of a sudden. Actually, that helped. The candles helped. And we were learning on Monday night with my dear friend Rabbi Jordan Ben-Dadapel was a guest at our meditation community, and yeah, he's just really teaching about this whole part of the Hanerat Halalu, you know, where Anu Alikim Alanisev Alafilot Alachuav Ein Lanu Reshut. So Ein Lanu Reshut Lishtamesh Bahem Ela Lirotam Bilvad. We're not supposed to use them. We're just supposed to look at them, which is really like a pretty deep mindfulness practice. It's just to look at the light. There's nothing to do. You don't have to fix yourself while you're looking at the light. You don't have to be the light. You know, you don't have to like change anything. You know, it's not, but to trust that actually looking at the light and bringing curiosity about the light actually will fill you. It will, it will permeate, you know. Yeah.
That's really sweet. I always found fascinating that the one action that we are supposed to do, aside from lighting the candles, is to, once lit, move the hanukkiah to a window so that our neighbors around us know that it's Hanukkah. And I always found that just also a beautiful practice. It's not super showy of massive lights and your entire house is lit up, but a simple little Hanukkah candlestick holder in the window.
It's very outing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and I don't think a lot of people, well, I'm sure lots of people do it, but if you don't live in a place that is predominantly Jewish, I don't know how many people actually do that.
Yeah. I wonder where that feels. I wonder where there, I mean, I imagine many places where it's like, would never even be considered as a possibility. Yeah. I'm going, as you said, I'm going to Dubai tomorrow. I'm laughing still because it's so fresh. But, you know, several people asked me, like, do you think it's a good idea for you to go to Dubai? So I think there's a different relationship with Israel now, and so I guess with Jews, I guess. I'm going to guess not so much with queer folks. So it's interesting, you know? So when I asked a colleague about it, that was the first thing he asked me. You know, I was like, what do you think? Because I have all these things and I have to cancel things and just want to. He's like, well, what do you feel about going to Dubai? And I was like, I never thought about it. I'm just being transparent. I just hadn't researched there. I had no reason. That's I just hadn't, it's like there just hadn't come up in my consciousness. Anyways, before I go there, I probably don't want to be getting too deep into it, but it's the first time in my life that I've had that kind of thinking, like, oh, right. So my music is.
I mean, if you need us to remove the video for your safety, I will 100% support that. And I have it recorded, so we can pop it up at a later time. Well, I just want to make sure you're safe and nothing happens to you.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it brought me into thinking about like, so it's not been so long that I've been out, really. I mean, I guess it's a while, not that long. I'm 50. I'm gonna be 51 in April, and I came out. I don't know how old I was, but it was 20. I was on my way out. I mean, I think I was on my way out forever, but it was just. But I was sort of like on my way out 2014 or 2015, and then 2016, my first partner was out with that partner. So it's not really very long, 5 years. And so I was thinking about my work and how queer is my work. And then I was like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean for it to be queer? What makes it queer?
So do you want to answer that question?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
How does queerness show up in your work?
Yeah.
In your art, your craft?
Sometimes I feel like, I'm molding the question a little bit, or I'm molding the answer a little bit. But I was thinking that sometimes I queer up the setting just by being there.
100%.
Like, so less at this moment in my life anyways, has it been explicit, or certainly like language inside the lyrics, or I guess that's all actually, language inside the lyrics. Yeah, but it does feel like the more it can be, really both in my body in a way that's luscious and vital and healthy and available and true, then in a lot of the spaces I'm in, which I would say the world music communities still feels pretty straight. I was always working at the beginning of my career. I was always working with great guys, but always men and always straight men. Not as a rule, just that's what they were. In the dance community, it was mostly gay men and some queer women, but in the theater community, it was all mixed in those places. But then when I moved into music, it was different in the realm of music I was in. So it wasn't a great place for me to kind of to figure that out. And in fact, not only that, but my experience was pretty sexualized. I mean, nobody did that. I mean, the system, wasn't like the guys were like, but I wore that, and I realized it's part of the reason I left. I left that particular realm of where I was working, because I was just like, I didn't know what I needed to shake off. I had no idea what it was. I just knew I was agitated all the time. Like, I don't have voice. I don't know.
You're the front person, the front woman of a world music band.
Yeah.
That, by default you're sexualized, and it's by no doing of your own. It's by society for sure.
Yeah. So now, like, I just feel like just slowly, the more I sort of just come into my own, it's also what's happening in my voice. I feel like I'm queering what's expected of my voice, what people are used to, what I've been used to, of the prayerful, loving, kind, caretaking, passive, perhaps also, sexy voice, all of those things can stay there. But they need to take a break so that I can bring out the wild and the gruff, the moan, the groan, the whine, the that's this whole exciting thing about the siren that I've learned so much from my teacher, Fides Kruker. I've learned so much of that from her. Just what has been mediated in the female voice, about how the female voice should be, could be. And then we have this myth about these female creatures who don't even have legs. Like they can't walk away, right? They can't even get up and have that kind of agency. And they use their voice for, to lure it's always like lure the sailors, and then the sailors crash. So it's for destruction. And I'd like to be able to use my voice for wrath and fury, and just to really, really bring that in free and healthy and like really exciting ways without any harm, particularly to me.
Very important. It's very brave and liberating what you're describing.
Well,
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm growing into it. It's a 50 helped somehow. Don't know why, but it helped. It was like very shitty on the way up to 50. It was like, ugh. And then I turned 50, and then I was like, oh, it's not so hard. It's not so. Some things are very hard, but it could be a lot more fun, and some things mean less. That meant too much. That we're taking up too much space. So that was all. I guess that was the long answer around what is queer in your work. Queer in process. I'm queering in process. Yeah, I'm in the process of queering. I'm getting queered up.
I love it.
Have you met
Be safe in Dubai, because I don't know if you should be moaning and being wrathful.
I'm not going to be that. I want to introduce you. Yes. I want to say yes. I have already thought about that. Yes is the answer. I just want to introduce you to my friend the elephant.
Hello, elephant.
My friend Aviva.
Does your elephant have a name?
No, I have trouble with naming, so the elephant is Ellie Elephant. I'm open. Oh, maybe that could be the skill testing question, actually.
And then whoever has the best answer?
Yes.
Excellent. That's the one.
Right? Should we say what it's for? No, not yet.
Yeah, why not?
Here's a thing. I will not be wearing a dress like that in Dubai.
Although it's a beautiful dress.
Oh, this dress. Wait, let's say something about the dress. The dress was made by Sarah Taubin, who is Evelyn Taubin's mom. This dress was made in 1971, the year I was born. And there's the back of it. She was at school in Tel Aviv, Bar Ilan, or actually I can't remember the name of the design school. Anyways, and she made that dress, and I wore it as part of that release. Anyways, I'd love to get you this album. If you want to send in a great name for Ellie Elephant, Ellie the queer elephant, then maybe Ellie's not queer. I don't know. Maybe you could send something in with your
So for those who are tuning in, this is a giveaway for Aviva's lovely CD. And if you come up with a really good name for the elephant, Aviva will be obviously the judge of that. You will receive this in the mail, and we'll connect you. We'll need your address, of course, and whatnot, but start thinking about really good names.
There's the elephant.
Love it. And perhaps the last thing I will say is, because this is being recorded before candles are being lit on the West Coast, maybe we'll give people until 9 p.m. today, Pacific time, which is midnight Toronto time. Yes. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, they're really. Oh, can I sing you one of Flory's Hanukkah songs?
Of course you can. And you know what I can also do is I can have the camera just focus on you for a little bit. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Sounds good.
Okay.
So this is song by Flory Jagoda, who was my mentor. Should be, I think, 98 this year. I think 98, December 21st, and she died last year, January 29th, 16th of the Hebrew month of that, at that time. And so she wrote this song. You actually may know it. It seemed to kind of blow up. Lots of people covered it. And anyways, it's called Ocho Candelicas, 8 little candles. And the counting in Ladino is different than it is in Spanish. But for those of you who speak Spanish, it'll sound very similar. Una, dos, tres, cuatro. Those are all similar to Spanish. Cinco, seis. Those are the two different. Cinco, seis, siete, ocho. And the words are beautiful. Hanukkah is here. Oh, for me, 8 little candles for me. We'll just do that part. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Boom, boom. That was the condensed version. That was there was a little bit of Flory Jagoda's Ocho Candelicas, which we're actually going to play on Sunday night in Dubai. We'll play a couple of Hanukkah tunes, so that'll be one of them.
And with a whole band, I'm assuming, too?
Yeah, so the whole band, so there was we created the album with a 3-piece. We really moved into the album performance with 4-piece, and then into this summer, our first gig back for Ashkenaz. You can catch that concert online. I loved it, so I'd love to share with you through the Ashkenaz Festival. If you just go on, you'll find it Barn Sessions. There were 5 of us, including my friend Miriam Teller, is a beautiful singer. So now that 5 is going to go to Dubai. They saw that concert and they asked us to come. For the Canadian ambassador is hosting something for Hanukkah, and it's at the time where there's a big expo. So they'll be we'll be with the Canadians at the Canadian Pavilion, then we'll go to Israel, which is, I guess, the Israel Pavilion, and we'll play there. And then I guess we're playing in a bunch, who knows where else we're playing. Keep you posted. That's the 5.
So exciting.
Yeah, full band. That's, amazing, right? It's kind of, sometimes I get the treat of going places and I don't do any research first because I'm not going touring. So it's just okay, when I get there, if I get to see some things, it'll be a super treat. But people are like, what are you going to see? Where are you going? I'm just I think I'm going to go, but it is, I'm interested to see what's happening there in a place I never imagined going, and also just, never imagined, but never kind of had a yearning. So it'll be interesting to see what's there.
And will any of this be live streamed?
Yeah, I've asked them. I still haven't heard back. I don't think so, but it would be so great. So I've asked. I can let you know.
Okay, maybe you could ask someone who's just standing by. Hey, sorry, do you mind just holding this phone?
Totally. Can you just jump on my Facebook Live page and
yeah.
I know I kind of wish we were going. There was a 6th person going with us, so they could actually.
I'm right here.
I have to tell you that you are not the first person to offer.
I could totally be a groupie. I could be hype.
It would be so good. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
I hear Dubai has fantastic dates.
Yeah.
The dried fruit.
Oh, dates. I was going to say, I thought you were going to say Indian food. I hear Dubai has fantastic Indian food.
I would imagine so. They do have a large Indian population.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So
I'm excited for what you're going to eat. I hope it's plentiful. I hope there's lots of feasts, and I hope you're warmly welcomed. And I just know it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful celebration. And I know because you're going to be there adding to it.
thanks, Carmel. Yeah. I was before you said the thing about the dates, but now I'm excited. Thank you for eating. Yeah, I love, that's the best part of going anywhere, the food, the people, the food and textiles, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're wearing like the most gorgeous Mexican textile, piece of textile, gorgeous. And I remember that kind of textile. Like I was showing Carmel, for those who are watching, I was showing Carmel before. Yeah, that I have a couple pieces from when I was in Mexico of just textile. And I was just in Sweden. Like you wouldn't think like, oh, Sweden and Stockholm, but I was like, okay, what are the textiles here? So I kind of went looking around and brought back some towels. But it just, yeah, really beautiful. So I'm looking
You'll
forward to
have
that.
to
Maybe
check
going to
out
the
the
market.
souks
That's
in
exactly.
in
Yes.
Dubai. Oh,
That's where I
I'm
want
so
to go.
excited for you.
Yeah, to get like a caftan or. Oh, wait, have you seen my cactus?
I have been eyeing that. For those of you who didn't know, earlier on, Aviva was getting ready, and I was admiring I think what you referred to as a Hanukkah cactus.
Yeah, check it. I don't know if you can see it,
It's
but
stunning. Oh, look at
you can
that.
see how many blossoms there are, but there are tons.
It's
There are
beautiful.
tons.
Mine
Actually,
already came and went.
oh no. It
Yeah,
left
it
before
was
Hanukkah.
beautiful.
Oh, what color was it?
Light pink.
Oh, nice. Subtle, gentle.
Hmm.
This
But
one
I
is like,
like your
but
fuchsia.
bam, bam, look at me,
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at me. I'm so flirty. That's what it's like. That's what it looks like. It's like, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. Yeah. Yeah. But I was thinking, well, just before we were talking about food, I was just thinking that we've spent some time online together, but we've never been in the same place.
We have, though. Or Shalom, you were
Oh,
in
we
town.
have. But
It was for a hot second,
it was a hot
and
second.
we were
But
like, we need to connect.
that's right. That's right. It
And
was
then
before
it
we
was
knew we
official.
loved each other.
Yeah, now we're in love, for sure. 100%.
It was before
Yeah,
we
you've
knew.
been an amazing supporter through a very difficult time, also in my life. So I appreciate you sharing all of your wisdom. The difficult time that I'm referring to is I was going through some really, really atrocious reproductive issues. And after a 10-year journey of trying to get help, and particularly the last 3 years, becoming quite ill and sick, I finally got the medical system to agree to do a hysterectomy, and I just had that in October. After a crazy journey, which I will not get into, but the reason why I'm sharing this is I find it absolutely bonkers that so many people do not talk about this. In fact, I found out after releasing publicly on my social media that these are the issues I have: endometriosis, as well as adenomyosis. That many of us are suffering in silence and not talking about it, and end up getting operations or treatment that you don't hear about, so they recover alone. And I did not want to go through this alone, and I am just very thankful that I had people like Aviva who were sharing with me their life journey dealing with it, so I knew I wasn't alone. And then hearing the wisdom of all the different things that I wish I had known many years prior.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's it's that's very is very many things. Like
It certainly
it's
is.
very painful. Like in here, in the sense of it's painful because it's pain. There's pain, physical pain, but it's a loss. There's a lot of grief because so much time is spent fighting to be heard so much time, and not yeah.
And it's not wildly accepted either.
No,
The the you know, it's the patriarchy as far as I'm concerned, being like, you're still so young, you should have children. And the whole thought process is, you and I both know this uterus is not healthy enough to bring a child into this world. And who's to say I want children? And that I should be putting my life on hold for the life of a potentially an unborn child of mine in the future? No, thank you. But something that you will appreciate, and which you, I think I shared with you, is I had a Shiva for my uterus.
No, you did not share that with me. That's awesome.
It was the best.
That is
And
so...
I went through the grieving prior to surgery.
Oh.
And said goodbye to my uterus and the ability to have children biologically that way through my body. And I think it really helped me with recovery, because my grieving was done before I went into surgery, and all I had to focus on was the physical aspect of recovery. And I have zero regrets. I am healthy. I no longer have to take any medication, any pills, nothing. It's life-changing. I literally have a new lease on life. I'm sleeping in white beddings for the first time in my adult life.
Yes, I know about this. I put away I stopped getting any white clothes from here down. Like, oh yeah, bed sheets. Oh, so many.
I sleep like this in my bed, like a starfish.
Oh,
I don't sleep anymore on the side of the bed, so I don't leave a trail behind me on the way to the washroom. It's
oh my God,
crazy what we do in order to, that becomes normalized. There's nothing normal about what I went through.
No.
And what so many people with uteruses go through.
Yeah. Yes, just yes. I know. I mean, I'm glad I know, so so when I say I know, you can hopefully feel that. And then other folks who have uteruses who are listening and feel that, then maybe they're like, oh yeah, me too. That sucks. And I think it's a big deal to not be heard. There are a lot of people in the world who know what it is to not be heard. Just in terms of this context, not being heard around suffering has long-term effects on the spirit, on the body, and on the voice. And on the confidence around one's voice. Voice, I mean, as in one's opinions and one's instinct.
Oh, advocacy for sure. I ended up having the opportunity to share my advice to the hospital as well. There was an assumption that I was a she, her by people who didn't know me. Even though my pronouns are she, her, I just knew that the nurses, they were like, oh, it was assuming that I already had children. And, you're in the same ward as women who are having children as well. And assuming that you have a partner who's a man, it was very, very heteronormative in a direction. And I had to say, look, if there's more than just women who are having their uteruses taken out here. So I think you need to do some LGBTQ staff training and inclusion, and also think about the recovery of people who might have wanted to birth their own children but can't. And maybe this is not, having, you're being told to walk around the ward to, get your body moving again. And you see pictures of babies and you hear them crying and you're like, this is not good. Yeah. So clearing the hospitals, that needs to happen.
They think they'd be open. Maybe you could come in to do some JQT training.
I would love to. Also, when I was getting the infusions for IV, because I was super anemic and almost couldn't get surgery because I was too anemic, crazy. They referred to me and a bunch of other, what they thought were women, identifying women as lady irons, that all of these people who are in for iron, there's the lady irons. And I couldn't believe it. And I mean, like, maybe that was cute back, a long time ago, but it's not cute now.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work that needs to happen.
It's yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's everywhere. It's just
Right.
really, really everywhere. And I don't know, I'm jumping to this, but just what comes to mind is like it's in all the systems. It's there and so obvious for you. It was so obvious, but I think one of the places that is just I can only speak for me from my place of from my vantage point these days is the place of the subtle place. You know, the place where the patriarchy's at work, but we're all saying that we've done the work already. And I just want to say the work is not done. The patriarchy is still alive and well. And I think COVID knocked things backwards. And I think it's really important that there's awareness about that. That actually, sexism is an essential piece of the work. As we look at all forms of oppression, it's still threaded in. And I think especially, I just feel like especially in really progressive and or progress. I don't know I don't even know what that means anymore. But places where people are
definitely. Go ahead.
Oh no, just it's an assumption that we're in we've moved ahead, and those are sometimes the places where sometimes things are said. And I just think, oh my gosh, it's very subtle, and it's not just things are said. It's more about who is centered, what we're careful about when we interrupt, when we like just various pieces like that. That I think, oh, we could be talking about this. We could be, but we're not, because if we're to say something, then all of a sudden you'd be calling somebody sexist, and then there'd be a thing. And more like, hey, if we're going to work together, let's make a contract when we start and agree that we're gonna notice who's here. Obviously, not just for sexism. Who's here? Everybody, all the needs.
Well, this contract, it's not just talking, but you need to have the flip side of that, which is listening. And COVID definitely brought to the surface systems that were already broken. And I'm starting to see that there's more dialogue happening, but there really needs to be a genuine internal look and analysis of what's working, what isn't working, and not just checking off the box like, oh, we brought in this diversity, equity, inclusion speaker, and so we've done this for this month, and we've done that for this month, but a commitment to this is going to be a journey. This is going to require culture change. It's incredible, and I know that you're doing this very important work at a synagogue in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm at a lovely place at Beth Tzedec Congregation in Toronto. Large conservative synagogue. I grew up in a conservative synagogue, but hadn't found myself practicing in one for a long time. And I was brought really by the senior rabbi, Steve Wernick. Yeah, I was going to say nice things about him. I think just I worked in Toronto for a long time, and I think the rest of the community, of the more institutionalized aspects of the Jewish community, just didn't know where to put me. Didn't know, or just couldn't envision a fit. So actually, I think he's the first person who's like, hey, you got a whole series of skills that could be great here. And maybe wasn't threatened, but maybe was excited, charged up by it. And I don't think it's why they hired me. I should say it's not why they hired me, but I am the only queer person on the staff, on the leadership team. And maybe we'll put that another way. I'm the first queer person on their leadership team. So yeah,
Mazel tov. That's wonderful.
yeah, and it's
That's so great.
so that's one of those instances about just being there, not changing, and being like just in the I'm not in the fullness of me. I don't let it, I'm in the container that's there with respect to the container that's there. But there are ways to bring in change. In this case, it's slow, so there are choices. I could go
But
somewhere
change
where
is happening. I mean, what
change.
was it, 2016 or 2018, somewhere around there? The conservative movement of Judaism has accepted same-sex marriage. And the first one that was conducted here and officiated in Vancouver at the conservative synagogue was just before the pandemic hit. I believe it was early, was it 2020? When did the pandemic hit? I don't even remember.
2019, something.
Was it 2019? Was it March 2019? Because if it was March 2019, then it was early 2019. But if it was March 2020, which now I'm thinking it's not, so then yes, it's early 2019. So times are changing.
I think that, yeah, I think that movement. I'm not certain. I'm no expert, but Beth Tzedec just did a whole thing about same-sex marriage, which I'm not even sure what that title means anymore. But anyways, but I know it's relevant because until you grow into that, then you can't grow past the fact that the title is already it doesn't ring. But all of that to say that it does seem like there was discussion about it in the 90s. And that it did make some movement, but I don't think they got all the way. So yeah, they've moved it, and
you have a fan who's written a couple times here, and I just wanted to share. Viewer named Susie G on Facebook, perhaps a different last name.
Hey, Susie.
And so Susie. So Susie shares, meeting you at BT has wildly changed my opinion and experience of my shul.
Wow, that's awesome. That's cool. Amazing news. That's amazing.
And Susie is also asking, we need to know more about the elephant's personality, of course, in order to name the elephant appropriately.
We need to know more about the elephant in the room. I don't think I haven't used that before. Yeah, well, hold on a second. Okay. Da 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 da. I'm afraid the elephant's gonna get on fire, so that's a bad thought. So let's just move over here a little bit. Okay, here you go, Susie. Ellie Elephant at present is as big as me, just about.
Brilliant.
Okay, and that's when we dance together. That's kind of what it looks like. Mostly, I'm not doing this. I'm mostly lying on the couch. I lie down on the elephant, like as if it's like a big pillow, but also it's good for cuddling, which is why my friend gave it to me. And presently, not with a partner. And I think it was just like a thought that even if I were, that it would be nice for me to have my own cuddle friend. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was the elephant-ness. Going back.
We have another person tuning in, a Shoshana Pellman, who is asking if there's anything on YouTube. And I just want clarification if this means content of Aviva singing on YouTube, because if so, there's a lot. Aviva's a very accomplished musician. But are you looking for online programming at Beth Tzedec in Toronto? I don't know. I think I need more clarification on that. But if you go onto their website, I'm sure you can find at Beth Tzedec more information about what programs are available and how Aviva will be doing all of that.
Yeah. Also, I'm just thinking I think there's starting to be like a queer through in Toronto, because I can only speak to that because there's a little group having conversation just about that programming that's happening. All to say, I think there's like a gathering of info of what queer programming Jewish queer programming is happening at any given time in the city. And it was, I wasn't the only one who said, like, don't forget, let's not forget about the other places.
Yes,
Like our friend
yes.
Sweet Cutie and also other groups around the country. So I think it's starting. It's slow. It's a bit of a slow place that we live in for this kind of growth where it's just like, folks, come on. This could already be happening, but it is slow and it's starting and
And
the conversations are
it's
starting.
moving. There's been progress. Like JQD on Sunday had our first appearance at the Jewish Community Center's Hanukkah market, and that was phenomenal. We also raised so much for our little organization, which, by the way, runs entirely on donations and grants that are successful, as well as our volunteers. And then we also brought the Klesbians, who are also going to be performing for Hanukkah Hotties on Friday. They're our candle on Friday. And they came in all the way from Victoria on Vancouver Island,
No
went
way.
across the water
So
to
nice.
perform on the stage. And it was incredible. And of course, they're like wearing their pride colors and leather jackets. And yes, queering the Hanukkah
Oh,
market stage.
yes, Jay Cutie, that's awesome. That
Yeah.
is so great. That is so great.
And for many years to come. So it just got to start
You got to
little
start,
by little.
in our yeah, I think it's like just little I put my mind towards the programs that I'm part of curating at Beth Tzedec. It's not the request of them, like, check your queer content. It's not why we're agreed that that's not why I was hired. But now of course, I'm looking for all the voices, and so I'm including those who are making music, just who are making music from all the voices, and that means that the sound is gonna change and the way we sing is going to change and what we feel and the way we know ourselves and see each of us see aspects of ourselves is going to change and feel more at home to more people. So that's my prayer for this Hanukkah. Yeah.
And that is a wonderful way to conclude. So eloquent, so radiant as always. Yes. Many thanks to Aviva Chernick for joining JQT today as our fourth Hanukkah Hottie.
Oh my God.
Be sure to follow their work on all the socials. Thank you to our sponsor organization, Creating Accessible Neighborhoods.
Thank
You can
you.
also follow us, JQT, on social media. The links are all in the chat. Thank you. Let's
you,
keep building this
Carmel.
community. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you. Thank
Oh,
you.
no. What would you like to add?
Oh, I just want to go like this. I just want to lift up the work that JQT's doing and you and JQT. Yeah.
Many thanks to you.
Big hearts. And all the
Safe
folks.
travels to you and Nisia Tova and Chag Hanukkah Sameach.
Hanukkah Alegre, everybody. Yeah. Happy, light it up, get lit up. Ooh, they're almost out. They're almost have to. So when you go to light, I hope this will be a good companion for you, those folks who are out west. And thanks for having me. I hope we get to return. And
very soon.
And see you in person.
I just want to hug you.
I know.
It's gonna happen. Beautiful.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao. Bye.